Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Insurance with Infiniti. My name is Infiniti Whitley and I'm a licensed life insurance broker in the states of Missouri, Michigan, and Texas. Today I am here with another hot topic, and that is why single people need life insurance. Before I get into today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share it if you find it helpful. It helps the channel, helps me reach and help other people. Alright, let's dive in. Alright, one of the reasons that single people need life insurance is kind of common actually, and it's if you have debts, right? So if you have, say, specifically a mortgage, car note, credit card debt, debts that typically will affect somebody that you will leave your assets to, then you want to have life insurance that will not only cover your burial. On average, the average burial, sidetrack, is about $10,000-ish if you adjust to inflation, and the average cremation is about $3,000. So if you don't have $3,000 to $10,000 sitting in a savings account that you will never touch, that's specifically dedicated to that purpose, you need life insurance to be able to cover that part of it. But again, if you have mortgage on top of that, if you have car note on top of that, credit card debt on top of that, that your family or loved ones would have to deal with after you're gone, you want to have enough coverage not only to cover that base funeral cost, but also to be able to cover all of or parts of those debts, so it makes it easier for your loved ones to carry on with those things. If you have people that depend on you, so kids, elderly parents, I don't know, a stay-at-home spouse, anybody that depends on you, you need to have life insurance. Because, okay, in the event of your kids don't work, typically, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? What about their futures? If you're gone, they are literally up a creek without a paddle. There are circumstances where, you know, people leave behind their kids and they are very well off. But I am passionate about this subject because of my past situation. You can go watch the previous video if you want to know more about that. But it can get incredibly chaotic for your kids in their present time and their future if you do not have coverage in place to help deal with your final affairs or to help give them a little boon in life and help cope with the loss of you. If you have a stay-at-home spouse that depends on your income for the mortgage, the car, whatever, they just depend on you because they don't, you know, they don't work, they keep the house. Okay, what are they gonna do when you're gone, right? Point blank. Obviously, they probably go get work, but is that going to be enough to sustain them long term during the transition period and beyond that? And of course, if you have elderly parents or grandparents that you take care of, Jesus, what are they going to do if you're suddenly gone? A lot of times they are in a place where they need a little extra help. Will they be able to get a home health aide? Will they be able to continue to, I don't know, get groceries, their medications, things like that? Will they be able to afford to put you away in the first place? Because, you know, a lot of times our elders are struggling. So, I mean, these are all things that you want to think about as well if you have dependents. If you own a business, you should have life insurance, okay? There are different types of life insurance that you can set for your business, for you and your business, so that, you know, if somebody decides to replace you as a partner or there's a buy-sell agreement in place, then the proceeds from that life insurance policy will help cover that or help buy out or whatever the need may be there. Most obviously, if you want to pay your final expenses, like I said at the top of this video, the average end of life cost is anywhere between $3,000 and $10,000. Some people obviously do more or less. It just depends on the situation. But if you don't want to put the burden of cost on your loved ones or your friends, get life insurance so they don't have to think about it like that, right? So that they can have the proceeds from that policy to be able to execute your final wishes. Another thing that you might want to think about if you're single and getting life insurance is, like, if you want to grow your wealth in a way, or if you want to grow your estate. Now, life insurance is not a short-term gain. It's like one of those long-term things. But there are types of life insurance policies like IULs or annuities that will accumulate wealth, accumulate cash value or dividends, and eventually you'd be able to draw off of those because they are constantly growing in value. Which is something that people think about if they're planning for retirement typically, or just the long haul of things. Or say you want to just grow your estate, I don't know, leave a legacy behind for whomever, whatever, then in that case you would also want to get a life insurance policy. If you think for even one moment that in the future you may fall in love and have a family or something like that, get it while you're young and single. Simply put, it's a lot simpler. Those rates are significantly cheaper when you are in your 20s and 30s than it is later on when most people are thinking about it, right? And why is that? The younger we are and the healthier we are, the less likely we're just going to up and pass away, for being so real. But the older we are, we're in a risk class, as they would call it, where more things are likely to go wrong with our health. So it costs more to cover that. Now, some people hit me with the, well, okay, which one do I get? Term or whole life, right? And to be honest, as a fellow young person, I'm only 27, but as a fellow young person, when looking at life insurance, I honestly feel like there's value in having both. Hear me out. I know. So most people, if they're working a job, a full-time job, they have benefits with that job, which may include life insurance, right? And typically that life insurance is a term policy that lasts, throughout the term of your employment. Sometimes it's convertible. Sometimes you lose it when you leave the job. Okay. Well, if you have it in place at the time, cool. However, outside of that, you should not have all of your eggs in one basket, I always say. So, and taking this from an area of, hey, I've done it, I would recommend as a young person getting a whole life policy, and then later on as your needs expand, I would get term coverage for things like mortgages if you qualify for it, or like car leases, any kind of debts, or any kind of expanded, I don't know, I want to leave a legacy kind of thing, right? Because at least if you do have that whole life permanent coverage, you can kind of set it and forget it because it's usually on auto pay. So I know at any point, I knew at any point after I got my initial whole life coverage, I knew that if I turned up and kicked the bucket tomorrow, at least my grandmother could put me away, right? Again, just not laying the burden on anybody. And then anything beyond that, like say, if you inherited a house that still had a mortgage on it, then yeah, okay, I would look into getting additional coverage, term coverage for that, for the remainder of that term. Okay, if you're looking for more affordable things. So yeah, that would be my soapbox for the day. I would say get your whole life to have a foundation so that nobody has to stress or take out loans or sacrifice their 401k to bury you or cremate you. And then later on, as your needs change, you can stack coverage. So those are things to consider if you're single, why you should have life insurance. I hope this was helpful and informative to you. I'm gonna go talk to some other families, and you guys stay blessed.